Victor got to play better. You know, the way he played, not good at all. 6 for 21 is not going to get it done. Shooting 10 3-pointers is not going to get it done.
See, the thing that I didn't like, Victor was only trying to affect the game offensively. He did not affect the game defensively.
Because he can't,
today.
Kenny.
And yes, he
can't.
can.
No, he can't.
He can guard Cat.
He can. He didn't.
That's why those guys are so good, because they've got a fascinating conversation there on both ends. Monica, what was your reaction to Victor Wembanyama's first ever NBA Finals game?
So there was a stat I was looking at going into the game about the Spurs being 7-0 when he scores 27 or more. So I was, late in the fourth quarter, I was really tracking that number to see what happened, and he did score 26 and they lost. I will say this, you guys, Karl Anthony Towns always says the right things. He's very thoughtful when he goes to the podium, so on and so forth. This is a matchup that I think he really is relishing in and looking forward to. I think you saw it last night. As much as you praise
This emotional toll that those 7 games against Oklahoma City may have taken. Wembanyama himself was very open about how it was taking him some time to get over or get past, or whatever the right word is, you know, the magnitude of that victory. Do you think we saw impact of either of those things in Game 1 last night? Wendy?
Yeah, I think the Knicks would tell you that Victor Wembanyama had impact on the defensive end, because there was a lot of guys who dribbled in and said, no, went out. I think he did have defensive impact. He may not have had the playmaking impact we've seen on this postseason, but the Knicks are not a fast-paced team. They ranked in the bottom of the league this year in pace. Yet you could tell their game plan coming out was to make Victor run. The whole first 5-6 minutes of the game, everybody was winded, quite frankly, because there were no whistles and everybody's got pent-up energy. But it was clear that the Knicks want to run when they can, not just to tire him out. They don't want him back there. Several of Brunson's baskets were in straight transition. And so that is going to be a game plan factor going forward. And look, I just felt, and only Victor will be able to tell you how he's feeling. I do not want to imply that I have a good idea how he's feeling, but I felt watching the last series, and the Thunder, I think, felt too, that there were times where they were winning the energy battle with Wembanyama, and they may have won the energy battle with him had Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox not got healthier at the end of that series and eased the burden on him. And I do think there will be a carryover. But I've also seen Victor bounce back, so I am definitely not expecting that to be an issue. But I'm saying that every day, every game, you're going to have to watch and see exactly what level he's able to give.
I talked to multiple Hall of Fame coaches, and a lot of coaches talk about sometimes the strategy you see in Game 1, there are wrinkles that they want to test out so they can then make adjustments towards Game 2, 3, 4, and 5, and show you different looks over the course of a series. The thing I kept yelling at the TV last night over and over and over, and even this morning at 3:30 a.m., why are you pressuring Karl Anthony Towns 30 feet away from the basket? What does that do? Like, if anything, it puts you in a compromising position defensively. Like, you have great feet, but not when you're pressuring and you overextend yourself. And I think when you do that constantly, I think that takes away from a lot of his legs, especially endurance-wise throughout the course of the game. He needs to be in, not drop coverage, but a little bit standoffish.
Yeah, you have enough space. And for Towns, he doesn't hesitate. If he sees you up, I'm going
He's
right by
drive.
you.
Yes.
They don't have really, I mean, as good as they are defensively, there's no other size to deal with. We've been following the playoffs from the beginning. And how many times with Spurs games did we have 1 or 2 or 3 spectacular put-back dunk, driving dunk, some type of finish? He had 1 dunk in this game. 1. We showed it, and it's an amazing dunk. But there was nothing at the rim for him. And that's why I want to see is the adjustment in Game 2, getting him into action that moves him into the paint rather than put him on the perimeter and make him a guard.
But to that point,
that's what you did. He played small.
What's the best way to attack the opposing team's best offensive player, especially if he's a big? You attack him defensively. Right. And defensively, if his legs are being worn down by trying to guard on the perimeter, it takes away your legs offensively.
We all thought that they were going to have Wembanyama guard Josh Hart, so that he could just rove around defensively and see if Josh Hart can beat you from the perimeter. They didn't do that in this game. They might think about it in Game 2.
Monica, get in here.
I hear you, Jay. I do think that you got to respect Karl Anthony Towns as a three-point shooter. And is there a level of space between tight closeout, pressuring the basketball, and still being in a position to contest the three? Yeah. I just think Karl Anthony Towns presents a unique assignment for Victor Wembanyama. Like, the way he played last night is the way that folks probably thought Chet Holmgren would have played versus that Thunder series. And that obviously didn't come to fruition. Yes, there are tweaks and adjustments yet to come. I think you got to give Cat more credit than you got to look at Wemby defensively. Now, do I think he also needs to find his way to the paint and challenge the Knicks in that regard? For sure. The numbers bear out that the Spurs are better when he's focused in the paint.
And maybe while the entire world, and I don't say this defensively, I've just been watching it, and I made this point in an essay I did a couple of weeks ago, maybe while the world, Wendy, was very busy downplaying or diminishing the opposition that the Knicks have faced over the course of that 11-game win streak they took in last night, what they overlooked was the fact that this is just a really good team. When the Knicks play well, when the Knicks, I feel like the world, the junior varsity, all that kind of stuff, I think that maybe there were some people who thought, oh, wait until they step up and play these guys, and all of a sudden you're watching the matchups and you're saying, you know what? The Knicks are by no means outmatched in this series.
I rejected that from the start because they won all those games by 20.
Right.
You know, the Spurs were a tougher competition because they actually got the Knicks down in the fourth quarter. How many minutes in the last month have the Knicks played in the fourth quarter when they've been down? Like almost none. And yet the Knicks, because of their history with Jalen Brunson leading them to victories, when they did get down, they just fell into it. They fell into knowing what to do. As I talk to scouts and executives, and they just say to me, you can feel the Villanova days when you watch them play. I know you can say, well, that was years ago and it's all different. DNA. I get it. But the people that I know the game say, watch how those guys fall into trusting each other from the Villanova days. They've won so much together. They incorporate what they do. They have an incredible belief in Brunson and a belief in their game plan. And that 10,000 hours showed last night down the stretch.
From Jay, and we have Alan Hahn here. And let me go to, I want to go, as I give it to Monica here, I want to go to a full screen. Cindy, can we put up C14? Because the Knicks have now extended their own records. They've won 7 straight played, and of the Cavs who they played. So with that thought in mind, Monica, you've been there for every second of it. Was this the most impressive win of this Knicks postseason so far?
No. I don't even think they played that well, honestly, Greeny, compared to what we've seen. In the fourth quarter, did they show up? Yeah, but when look at the stats, right? They shot 30% from the three-point line, which is low in terms of what we've seen over the course of this postseason run. I think it was an impressive win, but they didn't ever overcome the biggest deficit that they've had to come back from in this postseason. It was an outstanding win, and it is very important because this is the first time that they are not the higher seed with home court advantage. But I think there's a sentiment that there's better ball for them to play as this thing continues.
How about that, Wendy? I woke up to that text from my brother, who is the biggest Knick fan you'll ever meet in your entire life, who said, he calls us we, the Knicks we didn't even play well, and we're up 1-0. What about that sentiment, Windman?
Well, the Spurs have something to do with that. I thought the Knicks played cleanly. They only had 1 turnover in the second half. Their game plan, specifically their defensive game plan, worked extraordinarily well. Execution could have been a little bit better on offense. Obviously, when you're used to scoring 130 points, when you only score a little over 100, you're going to feel like you didn't play well. But the Spurs certainly had something to do with that. This is going to be a series where you're going to manage, errors, and you're going to try to recover. I think the most impressive thing about this is holding San Antonio to 95.
Yeah.
The ability to hold those guards down. And I cannot overstate, I'm going to keep coming back to this, Karl Towns handling the Wembanyama assignment has a cascading series of effects that spread everywhere. They're able to stay attached on the perimeter. They're able to stay out of rotation. That contributed to those guards not playing as well. And that I'm thinking if that's repeatable, okay, you may have games where Victor's not going to go 2 of 9 from 3. He may go 4 of 9, or he may go 5 of 10, and you may feel penalized because of that. If Karl Towns can stay out of foul trouble, can avoid, having to get help defense, it changes the dynamic of the way we look at this series. I question whether it will, but it changes the dynamic if they can hold to that.
Now, let me reframe my question, or rephrase it. Maybe I'm not asking it the way I mean to.
No, you can ask it just the way you did.
It wasn't the best game they've played.
Right.
But was it the most impressive win when you consider all the circumstances?
Yeah, to date, winning by 51 on the road to close out a series is pretty damn impressive, all right?
That's true.
But what they've done in this run is made teams quit. They have made you submit, tap out. Like teams gave up. This was different. That's what makes this the most impressive win is the fact that, the stage. It's game 1 of the NBA. Good game by them. But I'm tired of saying, yeah, but the other team. Stop it. What the Knicks do is they make other teams look as bad as the Spurs did down the stretch and everybody else that they've beaten so far in the playoffs.